This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbot.
Hello.
2 weeks' wages?
Well, the whole world's gone crazy.
Yes, the old bag is right. 2 weeks' wages. Temperatures are plunged, not are expected to. They have done it already. They've plunged as low as -10 overnight, the coldest of the year so far. An Arctic freeze hit Scotland and wintry showers were experienced around coastal areas. There was spray. Forecasters warned that conditions in the countryside could become bitterly cold because of a new area of high pressure. Met Office Senior Operational Meteorologist Annie said, "Wow, what a job title. That's ridiculous. Hello, what do you do? Oh, I'm Met Office Senior Operational Meteor... No, come back." She said temperatures dropped to -10°C in rural sheltered spots of Scotland land last night and down to -5 across England, Wales and Northern Ireland. Scotland is expected to see more snow in the coming days after flurries left coverings in higher spots as deep as 4 inches. Snow? Oh no. The new snow could cause transport issues. The Met Office advised that if you are driving in snow, the best policy is to put your fog lights on and switch your headlights off, because that makes you look cool. And also drive a lot faster than you have the ability to handle, and especially really close to the car ahead, because you are special and nothing bad will ever happen to you. Of course, if you're in a car with a GT badge, you will already be doing this.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Met Office spokesmodel Richard said Friday night, that's tonight, and the rest of the weekend will be wet and windy, though milder. But there will be gales on the coasts. Saturday, rain, heavy for a time, mainly southern Scotland, northwest England and Wales, and drier further southeast, becoming very wet from the southwest Saturday night. Rain, heavy for a time, mainly in southern Scotland and northwest England. Well, that seems to intersect northwest to me. Check while you wait. Wow. Okay. This is the weather forecast for Glasgow. Raining tonight and raining tomorrow and raining on Sunday. And what? Not raining on Monday? Pfft, rubbish. But then normal services resumed. Raining on Tuesday and raining on Wednesday and raining on Thursday and raining next Friday. And then raining on Saturday the 19th and then also on Sunday and raining on the Monday and on Tuesday and on Wednesday and on Thursday. Basically every single day for the rest of your life except Monday.
Damn it!
You'll be able to dry out on Monday. Outlook for Sunday to Tuesday, continuing unsettled and breezy, mild and raining, colder with sunny spells and showers on Monday, frosty overnight, more rain on Tuesday. Would you like to hear the long-range forecast for the next month?
No.
Okay, this is until the 25th of February, so this is the middle couple of weeks of this month. Further changeable weather, showers, rain, strong winds. At first mild across the south and cold in the north. Then strong winds, a risk of gales across the north and the west. Temperatures generally near normal, though there may be brief periods of snow to northern areas. And then, the end of this month and the first week or so of March. And if we can get to March, that's almost when the clocks go forward, they go forward. And we will have escaped winter's icy clutches. All we have to do is to get to the beginning of March, and then we can almost relax and think that we, got away with it. So, good luck, everybody. Here we go. From the 25th of February to the 11th of March. Unsettled to the end of February. Strong winds, showers, and longer spells of rain, especially in the north. And then into March, an increasing chance of dry conditions with temperatures most likely to be above average. An increasing chance of dry conditions with temperatures most likely to be above average? We'll take it. 0345 6060 973. Alison texts, Ebola in the UK and war with Russia. Don't worry, Nick, it might never happen. We're doomed. Let's have Glasgow. Why not? Hello, Frankie.
How are you doing, Nick?
Good, thanks.
That's good. It's always nice to speak to you on a Friday, my friend.
Is it?
Yes, because usually on a Friday I give you a weather report from Glasgow,
Oh, yes.
and it's usually
Raining.
but
But?
it would be raining. But it's that cold in Glasgow. The rain has frozen.
Is it? Right. So it's
Yeah,
it's actually
so it's
snowing
like-
there right now.
No, it's actually there's nothing because even the snow. It's that cold. The snow can't even get through.
I'm not sure that's actually scientifically accurate, but okay
no,
then.
As in Glasgow, Nick. As
Right.
in Glasgow. It's Glasgow weather, Nick. You know the score, man.
I do know the score. Yeah, I lived there for. I grew up in Edinburgh, which is just colder. But I spent about 3 months in Glasgow, and I am not making this up. It rained every single day, every day for 3 months.
I know that. I know you went to school in Edinburgh. My missus is in Edinburgh.
Why? Huh?
So anyway, apparently Bodger's hiding in a fridge in Ukraine. I'm saying my missus is from Edinburgh.
Okay, well, now we know where to find him. Good work. Thanks a lot, Frankie. Keep your eyes peeled. As soon as you see Bodger, then you let us know his whereabouts straight away. Hey, Bodge?
Yeah. Wait a minute.
He'll be hiding somewhere. Hiding out somewhere. Looking for a lawyer. Because nothing says innocent of all charges than lawyering up. Can you believe it? I mean, really, the weeks go by and you think, well, the next week couldn't possibly top this week that's just gone for ridiculousness. And then Liz Truss shows up in a Russian hat. Oh, the shame. Doncaster, hello, Martin.
Hey, Nick, I was just wondering, do you think the dear leader will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth on his Met questionnaire?
Yeah, let me think about that. No.
I know, it's laughable, really, mate. I'm loving it. I love seeing him suffer, me. I just hope it brings him down.
Right.
I love to be coppers, me.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Martin. Another unsatisfied customer. 0345 6060 973. We're all not rooting for you, Bodge, if that's any help. Edward texts, not only have my maths improved to A-level standards since listening to your show over the past 10 years, for example, 2 plus 2 equals 5.
Correct.
I find adding up money this way makes me feel better off financially. Your show is an education. Thanks, Edward. That's just true. And Stephen tweets, police have asked Johnson to fill in a questionnaire. Yeah. What is your name? Yeah. Do you need any help with that one, Bodge? Kath texts, the news said the police have sent Bozo a questionnaire about his lockdown parties. If he answers, brackets, lies, if he lies the questions in the right order, will he get extra points?
If you get it in order, you get extra points.
I do believe that you get it in order, you get extra points.
If you get it in order, you get extra points.
I just said that. I literally just said that.
If you get it in order, you get extra points.
Extra points for getting it in order. Listen to Agolf Twitler.
Don't be rude.
0345 6060 973. Chelsea. Hello, Mark. Oh, Mark. Oh, no. My fault entirely. I am at fault there. Or, as Boris Johnson would say, it's Priti Patel's fault. Chelsea. Hello, Mark.
Oh, hi. Hello. Straight through to you. Hello there.
Yes, Mark. Hello there.
I don't know if you heard the 1 or 2 hours, I forget how many, that a major mind, Ian Dale, devoted to the actual benefits of Brexit. And people were phoning up. Now, did you listen? We have to go on.
No, I didn't.
I'm going to listen for you.
A 2 hour. He did a 2 hour show on the benefits of Brexit.
It could have been one. Could have been 1 hour.
Did he play a lot of? Did he play a lot of music? Just
No,
to cover up the echoing silence.
A lot of people phoned up with the benefits of Brexit.
Okay,
Do you want to
name me
listen for
one.
you?
Yes, go ahead.
Right. Are you sitting comfortably?
No, not really.
Fine. Something.
Wait a minute. I'm not sitting comfortably.
Okay. I'm going to list all of them for you now. Okay.
Before you list them, I'll give you my list. The only benefit of Brexit is that the government can can bat away any complaints about its criminal behaviour by saying, oh, that's just a Ramona who can't get over losing, as in
yes,
John Major.
Well, okay, right now, sovereignty. And
Yes.
there are some things more important. Now, that was the only benefit that was actually listed, but an hour was spent at least, and it included such non-benefits as there are some things more important than money. You cannot measure success economically. Lord King and Dr. Owen in 2016 said so-and-so. I can't remember one other benefit other than sovereignty.
Sovereignty,
And
right.
there's another benefit. Another benefit is having been engrossed in the EEC and the EU for a total of 40 years. This is one of the benefits.
Yes.
How can you possibly think that you're going to get all out of it and start benefiting overnight in a year or two?
Oh, well, as opposed to...
That's not a benefit.
Unless you, of course, listen to all of the people that told us we were going to benefit instantly by leaving the European Union. And now they're saying you weren't stupid enough to think that you'd benefit immediately by leaving the European Union, like we said.
We'll give it 40 years.
40 years, okay. I'll pencil it down. I'll pencil down happiness in 40 years. Excellent work. Thanks a lot, Mark. Keep your ears to the radio set. Ian Dale did not deliver us 2 hours of Brexit benefits the other night, did he?
He did 1 hour.
1 hour, right. Now, was it done sarcastically on his part?
No.
He was genuinely interested.
For balance.
Right. Well, that's this show's watchword, by the way. Balance. Oath. I am nothing if not balanced. Isn't that right?
No.
0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC.
With Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Tweet @LBC. Text 84850.
Everything is going extremely well.
It certainly is. 0345 6060 973. Tom tweets, what odds do you think I can get on the new Met Police Commissioner being Sajid Javid's brother? I mean, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if it was Boris Johnson's dad. I mean, why appoint somebody to a position of authority in why shall I start that again? Why would somebody in this government appoint someone to a position of authority that actually has any clue as to what it is that they're doing? I mean, it seems to be the Donald Trump method of appointing people who are ideologically opposed to the organisation that they're joining. Is Jack the Ripper available? Let's have Galicia in Spain. Hello, James.
Hello, James. Hello, Nick. How are you?
Great, mate.
Anyway, two things. About Press the Dick. They say they want to root out this systemic racism, homophobia and sexism in the police force.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't the best person to do that a gay woman?
Well,
or is that
that's a
silly thing to say?
It's not an entirely silly thing to say. I'm sure that other people have had that thought, but it just seems a bit weird that you would have to put somebody in the Met Police who is the opposite of what they're accused of being. That just seems a bit weird. I mean, they will root it out of the police when they root it out of human beings. That we are, unfortunately, the police are not robots.
Correct.
When they become robots, then, of course, everybody can relax. Or, as I've seen in the films, start screaming. But, if we're expecting them to be different to the rest of us, then we're in for a big disappointment.
Yeah. And the second thing.
Yes?
About the Ukraine, in 1936, Hitler used the distraction of divisive French elections to send his troops into the Rhineland.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Putin might take a page out of his book and doing this with the divisive French elections that are coming up?
Well, people are saying that he's going to do it during the Olympics.
I know.
While the world's attention is, concentrating on the Olympics, by which I mean no one is watching, then he could sneak it in. By which I mean all guns blazing. Yeah. I hope that's answered your questions, James.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, well, no, thank you. Appreciate it. There was a rather concerning pause there before he did say yes, but he did say yes.
Yes.
That was an answer in the affirmative.
Affirmative.
Kate says, levelling up is working. People in Birmingham can now combine their retail shopping experience with dining out, as Primark launches an in-house Greggs restaurant. Well, it's worse or funnier or better than that, depending on your point of view, because Primark is going to sell Greggs branded clothes. Why would anybody want clothes that are branded Greggs? Unless you're actually working there. I bet even the people that are working there don't want to wear clothes that are branded with Greggs logos. Why? But then again, why would you want to brand yourself with the person who makes your T-shirt? Okay, just as it's Adidas, doesn't mean to say that, Mr. Adidas... was there a Mr. Adidas? I've got no idea. Mr. and Mrs. Nike didn't personally draw the T-shirt. Why have you got their name on you? Or Gucci, or any of these other silly brands that just plaster their logos all over it. But, I mean, I hope that this doesn't make me sound, labelist, but I'd rather have Gucci written on me than Greggs. That's just a personal choice. Who's going to buy that? I mean, Greggs branded clothes. I think one of their slogan is "It's a pastry thing" or "It's a pie thing" or something along those lines. Why would anybody want that? Huh? Hello, is this thing on? 0345 6060 973. It does give me some excellent ideas for birthday gifts for people that I don't like. Rachel says, "Can we stop with the cat cruelty outrage stuff, please?" Why? People are outraged that people are cruel to cats. That doesn't seem an unreasonable position to hold. Anti-cat cruelty. You can sign me up. Although we should check ourselves because, let's not get carried away and pretend that we actually are a country of animal lovers, because what we do to animals is absolutely appalling. We chew through 1 billion chickens a year. Not 1 million, 1 billion. Poor little chooks. I mean, one day they're just casually strolling about up to their little chicken knees in chicken poop, and the next day they get sucked into a giant machine and defeathered, declawed, deheaded, and stuck on a rotisserie in a supermarket, if you please. Stratford, hello, Adam.
Hi there.
Hello
yeah,
there.
I totally agree with you about this cat thing. I mean, no one really cares about the cat.
Oh, come off it. Of course we do.
Well, they care about it more than racism. It's just so irritating. I'm just trying not to focus on that story.
We
honestly,
care about it more than racism. Can we care about both things simultaneously?
Well, can we punish them not equally then? Because we give punishment harsher to the cat than we do to racism, and I think it's bizarre.
Okay, he didn't get punished for the benefit of the cat. I would imagine that the club punished him because he brought their brand into disrespect.
Yeah, but meanwhile we watch people whip horses every week. So it just doesn't really make sense. We're not animal lovers, is what I wanted to say. Right. But I wanted to ask your opinion, because I know you're very sartorially...
elegant, yes. Elegant, sartorially elegant, yes.
That's the one.
A dedicated follower of fashion.
Definitely. And you used to criticise Theresa May's shoe game. It's a thing. So I wanted to know what you thought of Liz Truss this week, who got torn one by her Russian counterpart.
Yes.
What an amazing guy. She should be the opposition in this country. Get him over here. But when she was walking through the, whatever their equivalent of that, during the meeting with her boot-cut trousers tucked into her babushka Puss in Boot shoes. She just looks so ridiculous, and I just thought that's just something that you would criticise. So I wanted to see what you thought of it, because I mean, that was the minute I saw it, I knew the Daily Mail comments would be ripping her to pieces over her shoe choice. She looked insane. Was she a farmer? Was she power dressing?
She was trying to channel Margaret Thatcher with that hat. Well, I'm surprised that she didn't show up in Red Square riding on a tank.
Well, she looked more like she was going to Eurovision. You know them toothless babushkas who won a couple of years ago? She didn't really pull off strength and leadership, if that's what she was going for. Who's dressing her? Who's dressing her?
Strength and leadership. I mean, come on. Well spotted there, Adam. Thanks a lot, mate. 0345 6060 973. I have never ridiculed Theresa May's choice of shoes, other than calling them comedy clown shoes, which she should kick off and put her feet up and relax. She deserves it. You can't walk in them, Mrs. M. Try trainers. On that subject, Levi texts, did you see Liz Truss's performance in Russia? Global Britain really is an embarrassment on the world stage. You know, to be Foreign Secretary used to be a thing. It used to be a very, very important position. It's our chief diplomat. It's our face to send around the world to get our way through soft power and through strong power if necessary. You have to be believable. You have to be respected. You have to ensure that those you are talking to are fully aware that you are across your brief, that you have some idea as to, where Russia is on the map, for instance. It's a small detail, but obviously Liz Truss wasn't in the meeting that day. I'll get into that in a minute. Chris says, if Ebola breaks out, will there still be people who say they are exempt from wearing a mask? Well, Ebola. Now, maybe it's just me being pessimistic, but I am quite surprised that we appear to be getting out of COVID on a soft fade out, aren't you? I would definitely thought that there was something else around the corner. Of course, do remember that, now I don't want to bring you down, but, Anthony Fauci, the bespectacled bloke out of America, he's a big cheese over there. Donald Trump absolutely hated him.
Oh, shut up!
He said that we were entering the era of the pandemic.
Oh, no.
That's what he said. We're entering the era of the pandemic. And it's probably because we're, in large part, actually, there may be some truth in this. It's probably because we're actually very, very unkind to animals. And we're invading their territory. They have smaller and smaller space with which to, spread out. And so we are coming into contact with them. I mean, for crying out loud, we might as well organise a bat fondling weekend. Because we're going to get infected with whatever they've got sooner or later, because we are all hugger-mugger now. We're encroaching onto into their space. Ebola. Joanne, and if that happens, then we will be, dreaming about the good old days when everybody was frightened of a little thing called COVID. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, it's @LBC. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC. It's 10:30. The news headlines with Zora Solomon.
Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
Hi, honey. How are you?
I'm super. Thanks for asking. Joanne texts, I think you're going to miss Cressida Dick's epaulets when she's gone. I think Cressida Dick will miss her epaulets. If I were her, I'd take them home and use them as not use them, but keep them as a pet. Not use them as a pet. Keep them as a pet. Couple of pets. Sam says, I'm not completely satisfied with this year so far. When will it all end? These are the jokes, folks. East Yorkshire. Hello, Mike.
Hi, Nick. Going on about Brain's trust in Russia. Well, she's obviously panicked them because they're accelerating their activities. but look on the bright side. If this was a few weeks ago, it could have been Rab.
Oh, painful. A couple of years ago, it could have been Boris Johnson.
Oh, dear me, yeah. Did you watch Prime Minister's Questions this week?
No.
Natalie Elphicke, right, towards the end of Prime Minister's Questions, and this has to be the Brexit quote of the year so far, she was complaining about congestion round Dover and gridlock, the M20 blocked, M2 blocked.
Yeah.
And then she said, but this is not because of Brexit.
Yeah, I did see that bit, yeah.
Yeah, it's because of EU bureaucracy.
Yes, because of the evil European Union being mean to us after we have left the socialist superstate. Yeah.
The only sort of amazing thing I thought, it wasn't Nadine Dorries that had said it.
Yeah, it's nothing to do with Brexit. It's just the European Union. That's all, because that makes perfect sense. Oh, really? No.
Something like that. On a quick note on this police recruitment thing, he said the police actually reflect the rest of us, and in a sense, obviously that's true. But I was great friends with an assistant chief constable many years ago, and 30 years ago he said, the police are doomed, Mike. And I said, why is that? And he said, they're changing the selection procedure around. He said, what we used to do was get really experienced officers in, and they used to grill potential candidates. And they talked to them about their life and their interests, and they threw, if you like, trick questions in, and saw how they reacted to them and judged their character, their integrity, and where they were coming from. And he said what they've done now, because that's not very measurable, they have loads of tick boxes, and they have loads of questionnaires which are designed by psychologists to try and figure out what the personality is. But he said anyone can get round that.
Yes.
You don't get to know the person. So he said, what's happening now? We're getting people in who are visibly unsuitable because we haven't been able to grill them. He said, because we don't want a reflection of the public. We want people with honesty, integrity and bravery who will walk towards danger.
Well, I guess that's true, yeah. We don't want a reflection of the general public. We want people who have honesty and integrity. Yeah, that's right.
And bravery, and he said this will lead to chaos because you'll get people in who are bright enough to answer the questions correctly.
Yes.
And then you tot it up and get a score. If you're over the score, you're in. But he said that will eventually lead to problems. But whether he's right or not, whether that is the cause, I don't know. But it seems reasonable.
Seems reasonable to me. Yes. Okay. Good work. Thanks a lot, Mike. 0345 6060 973. I wouldn't expect the police to change anytime soon, any more than human beings will change anytime soon. How's that whole kicking racism out of football going?
Oh, fabulous.
That's what I thought. Sam texts, oh no, I've read that. Pat says, international relations can often seem like a game of chess. Not when Liz Truss plays. Then it's not so much... It's not so much chess as buckaroo. Ben Wallace was sent in with the cleaning stuff to save face. Clean up in aisle K for Kremlin. I bet Vlad can't believe his luck. Oh, they just must be laughing their faces off. I bet he wakes up laughing. Okay, this is Her Majesty's Daily Telegraph reporting this. So if you get a bad press in Her Majesty's Daily Telegraph, then you know you're screwed if you remember the government. As British diplomatic efforts to prevent a conflict in Ukraine came under attack in Moscow, Russia's foreign minister dismissed Liz Truss as deaf and unprepared. Unprepared? Liz Truss? He should have seen the last incumbent in the post of Foreign Secretary. Angular, tetchy humanoid Dominic Deckchair Raab.
Correct.
And as for the bloke who was given the post of the UK's chief diplomat in what I can only assume was a joke by Theresa May, well, what do you reckon, Bodge?
I can't comment on that.
And it seems that the job, which was once held by serious people, is now a sort of a pantomime horse, purely there for amusement. Doesn't actually get you anywhere. Foreign Secretary Liz the Brains Truss was mocked by her counterpart in a joint press conference after failing to make a breakthrough during a high-stakes visit to Moscow. The first such trip by a British Foreign Secretary in more than 4 years. What were we doing there? I'm surprised that Bodger didn't go because, he does have a history of running away. After their meeting, Sergei Lavrov, Russia's veteran foreign minister, described their meeting as like talking to a deaf person. He said it's like they're listening to us but not hearing, said Mr. Lavrov, who has served as Russia's top diplomat since 2004. He hasn't been poisoned yet. Mr. Lavrov, who went on to characterise the meeting as a conversation between deaf and dumb, which is odd, because he'd already described Liz Truss as deaf. So does that make him dumb? Maybe we should let that pass. He is talking in a language that's not his own, whereas the Brains Truss has difficulty talking in a language that is her own. And it's not the first time Western diplomats have clashed with Mr. Lavrov. An Obama... You remember Obama, don't you? Yeah, that's him. An Obama official claimed that he would be relentlessly berating and browbeating and sarcastic and nasty. Wow. Berating and browbeating and sarcastic and nasty. I can't believe I'm about to say this, but I think that there's a place in Bodger's regime for the Russian foreign minister.
What?
Liz Truss also was chided by the Russian media for her attire for the visit, having worn a fur hat to act like Margaret Thatcher. Said the anchor of 60 Minutes, Russian state TV's flagship news show, pointing out the relatively mild temperature in Moscow. They said, she went out for a walk around Moscow as soon as she got off the plane, or maybe she went out to show off her hat. Thank God she did not take a balalaika and a samovar with her. Yeah, here's some of the excellent balalaika music. This is your official all-day, all-balalaika station. And as though that wouldn't be enough to make a diplomat take the next plane home, the well-respected Russian daily Kommersant news outlet quoted two unnamed diplomatic sources saying that Mr. Lavrov confronted Liz Truss about now I don't know how to pronounce these, but then I'm not the foreign secretary. I'll just give it a go. Voronezh and Rostov. I bet that is completely correct in every respect. So, almost like a gotcha. Lavrov confronted Truss about Voronezh and Rostov, two Russian regions bordering Ukraine, where the military build-up was reported. And Liz Truss, our foreign secretary, our chief diplomat, an expert, said the UK will never recognise Russian sovereignty over those two regions. And then the British ambassador reportedly had to intervene, had to wrestle her to the ground and tell her that Voronezh and Rostov are actually a part of Russia, not Ukraine. It would be like the Russians saying that they would never recognise that Folkestone and Dover are a part of Britain. Responding to journalists impertinently pointing out that she knows about as much about foreign affairs as her boss, Liz Truss said, I made it very clear that those regions, Rostov and Voronezh, are sovereign parts of Russia. You know, that is the regime's favourite phrase. I made it very clear that. The Prime Minister has made it very clear that. And you can stop listening after that phrase because nothing that follows it is worth hearing. Meanwhile, legislation was laid in Parliament to provide a framework for the strongest sanctions regime the UK has had against Russia, in order for the UK to impose sanctions on Russian businesses and individuals. They'll cover a range of economic and strategically significant sectors, such as paying hundreds of thousands of pounds for a tennis match with Boris Johnson and refusing to accept millions of pounds in Russian donations to the Conservative Party, because that'll teach them. What a way to run a country, eh?
Dreadful.
0345 6060 973. You can text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, it's @lbc. Not so much chess, more buckaroo.
Leading Britain's conversation. LBC with Nick Abbott.
Thank you for holding.
Your call is important to us.
Your call is important to us, Andy, even though you might not think so.
You're a buzzard, I'll tell you that. If you were in Dublin, you'd be called a buzzard on Radio Dublin.
Okay, then.
Okay, listen, this is the real implication of what took place, okay? Nobody seems to be looking at the bigger picture of what this gentleman has actually done, okay? People are talking about the cat all day, okay? And it's a horrendous thing to hurt any animal in the world. Okay, we all understand that. But the big picture is the children, mate. Right? The dangers of what's taking place in front of them children is horrendous, mate.
Now, wait a minute. Back up.
Yep.
There may be people looking quizzically at their radio wondering, what the hell's this bloke talking about? You're talking about the football cat kicker?
Yes.
Right.
Yes, because the children were in place, mate. The children were in the room.
Right, well, I don't know anything. I don't know anything about that. I refused to look at that video. I didn't want to see a video of someone being nasty to a pussycat.
Okay, I understand that. That's perfectly understandable. Okay, but the real issue, according to what I've heard, is that there was children present.
Right.
Okay, so if there's been children present, somebody professional needs to look at their children's age, mate.
Right. Well, what difference does it make what age they are?
Of course it makes a difference, mate, because what happens is if you're in the age of 0 to 7, mate, you're supposed to be in meditative mode, and if trauma enters your life...
Meditative mode? What are you talking about? 0 to 7, you're in meditative mood?
Yes. Your brain is the waves, mate. It's your brain waves, right? We all human beings have brain waves, right? Right, they're brain waves, right? They're called teeth, they're called... Listen, mate,
if you call me mate one more time, you're disappeared instantly.
Sorry, friend. Sorry, Andy. Sorry, whatever. Right, but listen, this is the implication of it.
Andy.
Right? Andy, this is the implication of what's taking place. They're young children.
Are you calling me Andy?
No, I'm saying I'm Andy.
Oh, you're Andy. You're very confused, Andy. You're Andy, right?
Okay. Right.
You're calling me Andy.
The children, if you just hang on a moment and I'll explain.
Yes,
the children
they're in a brainwave mode. Yeah. They're meditative.
Yes.
They're relaxing.
Okay. Yes, it's all children go through, mate. If you look at the EEG readings on the brain monitor,
EEGs, right. Well, we voted to leave the EEG, so...
No, EEG is the brain waves, mate. It's the machine...
Oh, mate, mate, he said. We will never have the benefit of being educated by that person. At least not more than we already have been. Isn't that tragic?
No.
Because he really did sound like he knew what he was talking about, eh? 0345 6060 973. Always go with your gut instinct. If I'd have done that, then you would have been saved the last 5 minutes. Sue says, are you going to see Steve Allen at the Leicester Square Theatre a week on Sunday? He's doing a one-man show. Will you ever do anything like this? I would come and see you, says Sue. Let me think about that, Sue. No. And no in that order. And furthermore...
No.
Let's have a call in Liverpool. Hello, Kevin.
Oh, hello. What it is I've been station hopping and listening to what's going on over the Ukraine and what's going on with China and the assessment of when it'll actually be. It'll probably be if they do go, it'll be at the end of the Olympics or just before the end of it. Well, I think we should make our own protest, the British, by bringing our athletes home and not as soon as they can.
What?
And for the end of the celebrations, because the local China, look at what's Hong Kong and what they're predicting now, and Hong Kong today, tomorrow the world.
What's it got to do with the athletes?
Well, I think we should make a protest because the Chinese
Okay,
people...
go make a protest, Kevin. What's it got to do with the athletes?
But this is what for the athletes, because the people of China will go, well, what's going on here? And if they find out,
no, they won't. They won't hear the news of it.
I know there's problems, but they'll bring it forward, and because a lot of them listen to like the Wales service and stations like that, and a lot of them do know what's going on.
Right. No, you seriously think that if we take our athletes out of the Olympics, it's going to make the slightest bit of difference, one way or the other?
No, the celebration at the end. Let them complete it, and bring them home as quickly as possible.
Why?
Well, because of what's going on in the Ukraine, that's one of the main things. Because
it's not China, it's Russia.
I know, but they're in league with China, and this is what they say. Talking about now is that they don't think it'll happen until the end of the Olympics or just before the end of the Olympics.
Kevin, we're in league with Saudi Arabia. They're using the bombs and the munitions that we send them to blast holes in hospitals and schools.
I know that, and it's a disgrace.
Yes.
There's other things that we're involved in as well.
Yeah,
but
no end.
China and Russia are a major problem in the stability of this planet at the moment.
And you think that's going to be changed in any way, shape or form if we bring our athletes home a day or so early? Leave them alone. They're some of the healthiest and best-looking people in the world, and after they've all finished their respective events, then they all pile on top of each other in a giant nude mountain of writhing.
Disgusting.
That's what I read about what happens at the end of the Olympics, or at least the Summer Olympics. Of course, they might have to keep a lot of their clothes on, it being freezing, blooming cold over there in China at the moment. It's got nothing to do with the athletes, Kevin, particularly the snowboarders.
Want to score some pot?
I mean, they're out of there. They probably don't even know what country they're in. But you go ahead and protest yourself, Kevin, and let us know how that goes. Thanks a lot, mate. 0345 6060 973. D tweets, the questionnaire Bodger has been given has formal legal standing or some such legal phrase, so he has to answer truthfully. He wouldn't know how to start to answer anything truthfully. You only know something is wrong when Bodger tells you it's right. D says, I wonder if the Met have popped in a few questions like, how many children do you have and how much do you pay on child support each month? Any idea there, Bodge? He's going to get his lawyers onto it. He'll only know when Sue Gray's report is released. Let's have Limoges. James.
Hiya, Nick. I've got a theory about Liz Truss, and you know how she seems to have this fetish of having a new outfit for every photo op. Well, I think she's nudged Bodger out of the way for the Russia visit, because next to the Kremlin, or rather just beneath the Kremlin, there's a wonderful underground shopping centre there called Ryad, and it's full of sort of global department stores with elite businesses. You'd probably find in London and Paris and Milan and
Gucci, Pucci, Fiorucci.
That's it, yeah, and it's absolutely gorgeous with opulent walkways and
it sounds a dream.
And ornate pillars, and it's the only people you'll find in there are rich Russians. You won't find the ordinary Russian in there. They're
oligarchs and their various hangers-on. Yeah.
So I reckon that she's gone there and probably she's lined herself up for a brand new outfit.
James, we've got shops in London.
Well, no, but nothing like when you can come back and say, I forgot a Russian. You don't get the fur hats and the fur what's-names that you get in
the fur what's-names? I think you said too much. She didn't buy a fur what's-name, did she? Oh, really? Isn't that awful?
Dreadful.
0345 6060 973. Please put something on as well as your fur what's-name, Liz Truss. We're begging you. And just a hat and a what's-name isn't going to cover it either, literally and figuratively. Steph texts, if you were to become PM, would you feel compelled to remove Lulu's 800 quid a roll wallpaper at taxpayers' expense, up to the value of 30,000, or live with it as a testament to man's inhumanity to man? Well, see, in that context, man should have the capital letter, because it's actually specifically woman's inhumanity to man. I'd just paint it magnolia. I mean, why would anybody want to live in that hideous, eye-popping mess? It looks like a sultan's harem. Absolutely awful. I mean, I could be an interior designer. It's got to be the easiest job in the world. There cannot possibly be an easier job than being an interior designer. All you got to do is go to... There's a place in Chelsea called the Chelsea Design Centre. It's like a shopping mall of stupidly expensive furniture and curtains and stuff like that. All these different designers. And there's not a price on anything. If you have to ask what the price is, you can't afford it. I mean, and I'm not making that up. There are no prices at all, because the place is for interior designers. And what they do is they get up first thing in the morning, and they're there as the cock crows at about noon. And they sit down and enjoy a couple of glasses of champagne, and then they just wander around shops spending other people's money. Oh, I'll have one of those, and a couple of those sofas, and some cushions, and that's them done for the day. Piece of cake. Anybody could do it. Unless you know otherwise, in which case you must correct me. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nica@lbc.co.uk. And if you're on Twitter, it's @lbc. Steve points out, quite rightly I would imagine, that if Bodger does get fined, we will be the one who pays that fine. I mean, would you be prepared to bet any of your money otherwise? What a way to run a country, eh?
Dreadful.
Leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbot.
Hello, boys.
Oh, hello.
Chicken and haggis in an iron brew sauce. Well, I haven't had it, and I don't know anything about it, but it doesn't prevent me from having a strong opinion.
Disgusting.
Sounds awful. JTEX, I wish it was Christmas. I have a brilliant tea for toilet, as in the A to Z that I do over the Christmas period. Tea for toilet. The toilet in the White House that Trump blocked with official papers, says Jay. What a story. Toilet Gate, they're calling it now. This is a Vanity Fair. One of the many obsessions that Donald Trump inflicted on the public during his 4 years in office, his hatred of windmills, the heights of politicians, hydroxychloroquine. One of the most bizarre was his fixation with toilets, specifically his insistence that it took an inordinate number of flushes to clear the bowl. He said people are flushing their toilets 10 to 15 times as opposed to once, he told reporters in 2019, claiming that the Environmental Protection Agency was looking into the alleged problem. 10 times, right, he said, to rally goers the following year. Not me, of course, not me, but you, he said, pointing to a random member of the crowd who we assume was mortified by the accusation. And the reason they're talking about this is because there's a new book by Maggie Haberman that says White House staff periodically discovered wads of printed paper clogging a toilet, which they believed that the president was responsible for. Any thoughts on that, Donny?
Dumps. They call them dumps. Big, massive dumps.
Big,
all over.
Massive dumps all over. You heard it there from the horse's mouth. Let's have Chigwell. Hello, Jennifer.
Hi. Nick, the Ukraine and Russian situation, I think that Putin is of a sort that will never back down. He will never lose face. So I do think we've probably got to offer him something, and he may. But before you say, because I know what you're like.
Greg's branded clothing, perhaps?
No, I thought you might say something a bit more like half of Fort Knox. I don't know what. But seriously, I think that's what he's like. I mean, you only have to look at that calendar. And before you say, have I bought it? No, I haven't. The man's weird.
Oh, you're talking about the Vladimir Putin calendar.
Yeah, I have a cunning kitten on that, I think.
Yeah, I have a couple of those. He takes... It's true. People used to buy... Anna and Anushka used to buy them for me. Thanks, Anna. Thanks, Anushka. No more of those, please. Half of them were him with his shirt off.
Absolutely.
Yeah, put it back on, Vlad. No one wants to see that.
The thing is, I mean, he's quite small as well, so I think he's the sort of man that we do have to, and as I said, don't ask me what, but it's got to be something big because the man's not going to lose face.
Right. Jennifer in Chigwell just called Vladimir Putin small. My best recommendation to you, Jennifer, is don't accept tea from a stranger. All right. Cheers, my dear. 0345 6060 973. She probably won't make it through the night. Nigel says, do you think that the questionnaire Johnson's been sent is a multiple choice question? What's your name? Answer A, Alexander, B, Boris, C, DeFeffel, or D, Daddy Pig.
Peppa Pig World. Peppa Pig World it has
yes.
Peppa Pig.
Peppa Pig is the right answer. Well done, Bodge. God, it's painful, isn't it? Bexhill, Stephen.
Nick, how are you doing?
Good, thanks.
I think in the Eastern European situation, we need a third wheel. So what we need to do is we need to get the Czech Republic, Hungary, Poland, Lithuania, Estonia, Ukraine to form their own little NATO and have that as a third wheel between us. That's what you do in projects. If you can't solve a problem, you put something else to move to with a bit of flexibility.
Right, we could flood all of them. We could flood the whole lot and call it a moat.
That's a plan.
Yeah.
That's a plan. Yeah, no, that was put forward by Donald Trump, and I thought that was a very good idea. And I think I've seen that used in projects. It's very effective. We basically need to have something as a wheel to work in between us. So not
a buffer zone.
Head-to-head NATO. A buffer zone.
A buffer zone is the right answer.
That's it. EM said it'll be like Korea.
Right.
It's just my suggestion.
Okay, excellent. It sounded like a suggestion. Yeah, let's just leave it at that. Thanks a lot, Stephen. 0345 6060 973. JR Tech, not the JR, surely. He dead. Who killed JR? JR texts, on the eve of conflict, Parliament's in recess for 10 days. Then they're back for 6 weeks. Appropriately, the Easter recess starts on April the 1st. Are they actually back for 6 weeks, or do they get another break in those 6 weeks? Because I'd be surprised if they worked, in inverted commas, an entire 6 weeks without a break. I don't think they got it in them. Philip texts, is Cressida going to have a leaving party? Her epaulets are going to have a leaving party. I bet they can't wait. South Norwood. Hello, Philip.
Oh, good evening, Mick.
Philip.
I've got a bit of a problem.
Yes.
I had a letter this week from the government
telling
me that in April, when I reach a certain age...
How old? Never mind.
They are going to give me, Nick, 25p a week. Now, after a lot of thought, I wanted to spend it on something to make me happy, you see. So I like fish and chips, you see. So I've decided that I am going to have 2 packets of tartar sauce with the fish and chips.
Tartar sauce?
Yeah, lovely. Goes over the cod and the chips. Lovely.
No.
Oh, well, what would you have then?
What? Tartar sauce on the fish, but not on the chips. That's disgusting.
Well, it's difficult to separate them when they're in a packet.
Of course not.
I don't put it on a plate. I sort of eat it. Sometimes I live quite away from the fish shop. I will sit on my local green as the sun is shining.
Right. Of course you don't put the fish and chips on a plate. You're not a monster.
Oh no.
You eat it out the paper, but
That's right. Yeah.
But you don't put what did you call it?
Tartar sauce.
Tartar sauce. Tartar sauce. You don't put tartar sauce on chips. That's horrible. Say bye-bye to tartar sauce.
Bye-bye.
I mean, vinegar. You put vinegar. I know vinegar and everything.
Well, you squirt vinegar all over everything.
Yeah, but so I'm really looking forward to getting it, all being well.
Yes.
The 25p a week.
And what's this for? Just for benefit of having lived long enough?
Yeah, if I live into a certain age.
Right.
You see, I don't know. I don't think I'll get a letter from the Queen.
Not yet, no.
I think that's when you're 100, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, so
and that letter, of course, comes with the bill. You owe her money.
One other thing, Nick, quickly. You were talking earlier on about cruelty by people with chickens, for the fast food shops.
Yeah.
Well, there's a great record, Nick, called Ghost Chickens in the Sky by a guy called Leroy Troy.
I seriously doubt that.
No, it is, honestly. It's on YouTube, and he sings a song about a farmer who used to supply chickens to, the chicken shop, and the chickens decide to get their own revenge, that they pick the farmer up, take him up in the sky and where I can't repeat what they do to him. You see? I'm not making it up, Nick. I promise I'm not making it up. It's called Ghost Chickens in the Sky by Leroy Troy.
I literally cannot wait not to listen to it.
I know you're sort of in the... with all things happening. Anyway, all the best, Nick.
And you, ta-ta, 0345 6060 973. Fortunately, I've forgotten everything he just said, the moment that he said it. Primark is owned by Associated British Foods, says Ranjit, which also owns Twinings, Ovaltine, Patax and Kingsmill. What's that got to do with anything? What has that to do with what I'm talking about? Primark is owned by Associated British Foods. I thought Primark was... doesn't Primark... isn't that the same people that own Fortnum's? It's something weird like that. Strange bedfellows. And is Associated British Foods actually British? Or is that a misnomer? Because nothing else that is British is actually British. Name one single blooming thing that is associated with this country that is actually British. I double dare you. Associated British Foods. Is British Foods associated with Britain? That's my question. Dave tweets, I left the military 9 years ago. I'm still wearing the free clothes. But do you get to keep your clothes? Surely not. I mean, if you're wearing camouflage gear, Dave, no one will be able to see you. Remember that. Woodbridge. Hello, Martin.
Hello, darling. Can you hear me?
No.
Can you not hear me?
No.
Oh, bugger.
0345 6060 973. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott.
Right, so what are we doing?
Gibbon, we are doing a radio show. Specifically, it is somewhat different to the one that I do with Carol McGiffin. I do a podcast with Carol McGiffin.
Yeah.
It's very, very helpful. Well, sometimes it isn't. And specifically, the last episode of the podcast is the least helpful episode ever. But drawing a veil over that, most of the time we do make an effort, at least, to dole out some assistance, while trying not to laugh too much. Usually failing on both counts. It's called What's Your Problem with Nick and Carol, and there's an episode comes available to the general public on Mondays, as though by clockwork. There's over 100 up there. I can't believe that we've actually done 100. And so if you are in want of amusement, if you've got a spare while, then I'll think it'd be right up your alley. It'll be available on an internet near you. It's called What's Your Problem with Nick and Carol. And if you want us to have a bash at your issue, then send it to the following address, nickandcarol@global.com. nickandcarol@global.com. And prepare for a mild amount of satisfaction.
Oh, right, yeah.
Ask for it by name on an internet near you. What's your problem with Nick and Carol? This is the information that we have about Associated British Foods. Associated British Foods plc is a British multinational food processing and retailing company headquartered in London. Wherever that is. Chris says, I heard Greggs are also developing a steak bake perfume for women to attract wealthy tradesmen. And Rona says, thanks for mentioning Greggs just now. I forgot I had 2 sausage rolls I'd left them in my shoulder bag. I wondered why I could smell pastry all the blooming time. And Sue says, Jacob Rees-Mogg can't understand why no one else finds food banks rather uplifting. Obviously, no one's told him that it's only upper-class twits like him who think like that. Upper-class twits, Bodger.
You're better informed than I am. I don't know anything.
Not Bodger, you're smug. Get it right. We had the risible vision of him asking readers of The Sun for... asking them to tell him how to do his new non-job. I mean, God. Have you ever in your entire life seen anything like it? I mean, first of all, he obviously didn't realise he was writing for The Sun. And The Sun allowed him to put in all of these words and thoughts that were... I mean, he's got like 4 or 5 syllable words in here. The Sun readers aren't used to that. I mean, apart from anything else, it's just so utterly ridiculous. In a perfect reflection of the man himself. When the Prime Minister announced the Brexit deal in December 2020, writes Smug, he said, "We have taken back control of our laws and our destiny. We've taken back control of every jot and tittle of our regulation in a way that is complete and unfettered destiny." Okay. Every Sun reader has tuned out after 2 sentences. Unfettered. I mean, come on. He said, "The opportunities in front of us are immense." They're so big that he can't see them, so he's asking you to point them out for him. He said, "Huge parts of our economy are no longer regulated by the EU." Yeah, and they're all doing badly. He said, "Before Brexit, many of my constituents would write to me to complain about regulations that burden them daily. I seriously doubt that. And if that is true, then why are you asking for more? Because you've got an enormous list already. Many of my constituents would write to me to complain about regulations that burden them daily," he said. Right, so you've got many suggestions as to what to do. Why are you asking for more? Get on with the ones you've got on your plate already. He says, "From farmers to electricians, on so many issues I had to tell them that even as an MP, I could not help to solve their problems, as rules were set by the EU, not the British Parliament." As though they just handed them down, as though from a cloud by God. We were setting them as part of the EU, you idiot. He says, "Thanks to Brexit, that has all changed." Yeah, you bet it has. And misery abounds. He says, "Sun readers can hold their MPs accountable as the buck truly stops with them." Yeah, unless they're sitting in a safe seat, in which case it doesn't. Like Smug himself. You could put an actual real life donkey in his seat, and they'd still vote for it if you put a blue rosette on it. He said, "As the Prime Minister said, Britain has won the right to set our own standards." Well, yeah, as lower. They ain't going to be higher. To innovate rather, in the way that we want. Yeah, we could innovate a lot of raw sewage straight into our rivers, for instance. He said, and we can use regulatory competition to make the most of our newfound freedoms. This is not going to help you. He says, "This is exactly what the Prime Minister has appointed me to do in my new role as Minister for Brexit Opportunities and Government Efficiency." I think that they're actually just openly joking with us now. That's his title, Minister for Brexit Opportunities and Government Efficiency? You've got to be kidding me. He said, "Competition, innovation and deregulation sit at the heart of my mission." Yeah. The deregulation part being, chief among them. This whole thing, all of Brexit, this whole thing has been about rich people paying less tax and people in the finance racket being overseen less. They just want to get back to the point where they can legally rip their customers off. They metaphorically sell you a boat, having drilled a hole in the hull and then taken a side bet on that the boat would sink, while telling you that it's a great boat. That is essentially what they want to have the ability to do again. Suffocating EU procurement laws were torn up by the vaccines task force, and bureaucratic treacle was melted by Dame Kate Bingham. We should credit the Prime Minister for taking such a great risk on this against huge opposition. Okay, we could have had the same vaccine rollout in the EU as outside the EU. They keep perpetuating that lie over and over and over again. And they're brought short, they're told to their faces that it's a lie, and their response is to just repeat it. It helps to be utterly shameless. Because we have a system in this country that is dependent on shame. It's supposed to be the good fella, the decent chap system. It wouldn't transgress rules. We don't actually need to write these rules down. It's just everybody knows that you act in a certain way. But if you are beyond shame, if you actually have no capacity to be shamed, then like Donald Trump in America, you just throw all of these rules and these traditions out the window, and nobody can do anything about it because it's not an actual law. Oh, it just goes on and on and on. Absolutely, just. I'll tell you how ridiculous it is. The Daily Telegraph ridiculed it. Ben Wright in the Daily Telegraph says, Dear Jacob, I write in reply to your rousing exhortation in the Sun newspaper for the public to let you know about any, quotes, absurd EU regulations that should be abolished, an appeal which, if I'm completely honest, I don't quite understand. Keep in mind this is the Telegraph. Let's leave aside the question of whether or not this was an exercise that should have been undertaken before we left the European Union. Yes. He says, you write that, quotes, the opportunities in front of us are immense. But now you're asking the great British public to illuminate you as to what they are. If these opportunities were so large, surely they'd be quite obvious. Why then do you need to crowdsource them? He says, no doubt there are various pernickety rules and regulations that can be usefully repealed, but it does seem unlikely that you will be alerted to some massive piece of legislation that is seriously hampering our economy and about which those in Westminster were previously unaware. Perhaps I will be proved wrong. I don't, however, have any suggestions for you, I'm afraid. The purpose of this letter is to sound a note of caution. I mean, yeah, no offence to the people that read The Sun, but in what parallel universe is Jacob Smug remotely interested in the opinions of the people that read The Sun? He's gaslighting you. He isn't interested in your opinions or your thoughts. At what point in history has that ever been true of him or any other minister of the Conservative Party? The Daily Telegraph writes, this is Ben Wright, he says, one of the areas that's very often near the top of the wish list is for the wish list for Brexit opportunities alongside free ports, which we've done already. They pretend that only now we're out of the EU can we have free ports. We had them when we were in the EU. He said one of the areas near the top of wish list is financial regulation, which is, I firmly believe, why we've left the EU, why we were persuaded against our interests to leave the European Union. Financial regulation, that's what it's all about. Or too much of it, which only exists to protect us from them. And just as the UK could, and in fact did, create free ports while in the EU, the truth is that there are very few easy ways in which to liberate the City of London just because it's no longer under the purview of Brussels. Many of the most important financial regulations are drawn up at global level these days. Very often they are then gold-plated by UK watchdogs. I know you think that the EU is a bureaucratic nightmare, but its interpretation of the very same rules can actually be more lenient than ours. Yeah. I mean, apart from anything else, they're saying that now the City of London can be unfettered, but the City of London doesn't actually make these rules. They're agreed internationally, in much the same way as the European Union agreed rules internationally. This is frustrating for the city, says Ben Wright of The Telegraph, but also understandable. If something goes wrong in the UK, it's going to cause a proportionally bigger mess because of our outsized financial industry. Yeah, we don't make nothing no more. It's all the finance racket. Yes, it's possible to make rules more efficient and achieve both objectives. However, this is painstaking and often incremental work that will be extremely hard to present as a Brexit win. The idea that the city has been hog-tied with EU red tape that can be slashed and thrown on the bonfire is, I'm afraid, simplistic to the point of sophistry. My worry is that in attempting to come up with something flashy that can be dressed up as a benefit of Brexit, this government will get rid of the rules that are actually quite useful. Big bangs can, unless handled with extreme caution, cause quite a mess. Sophistry, by the way, is a polite way of saying... Liar! Yeah. To say one's argument is sophistic is an insult, for it means they have used cunning, deceitful, devious, and specious reasoning. Yeah, that sounds about right. What did it say on the side of that bus, by the way? Still waiting for that money? Oh, look, it's just past 11:30 on LBC. The news headlines with Zora Sullivan.
Nick Abbott on LBC.
Shut up.
I can't. Woodbridge, Martin again.
Hello, darling, can you hear me?
No, you keep asking me that.
You can't hear me?
No.
Really?
Yes, really. Better luck next time. 0345 6060 973. Try calling back. We might get a better line.